Hey guys, welcome back. Modii here with another Mondays with Modii. So the last couple episodes we've been talking about GameStop and jobs I've had. And I think you guys are getting kind of bored of that stuff. So just by the views. So we're gonna mix it up and we're gonna kind of go into the next part. Not saying we won't go back to GameStop because I still have plenty to say about that. Let me know in the comments if you guys still want to hear about that. But today, I'm going to let you all know about my YouTube journey and basically how I got to where I am right now. This may take a couple episodes because there's a lot to it, but I'll explain how I met the people in the squad along the way and stuff along that line. I'm going to try and remember the time frame dates and whatnot as best I can, but we'll see how it goes. So the funny part is this whole thing actually starts at GameStop. When I worked there, I'll be honest with you, I kind of got burned out of video games, just working with them, talking about them, dealing with them all day. A lot of time when I got home, the last thing I want to do was think about video games. And I was in the store one night. I think it might have been, maybe there was a midnight release, or I don't remember what it was, because I usually didn't work nights. But I was there with a couple of my employees, and they couldn't stop talking about this game that was new to the Xbox called Minecraft. I had heard the name, but since at the time there was no physical copies of the game being sold, it wasn't something I dealt with. All we had was those little cards that you would buy off that rack full of, like, you know, gift cards and Neopets and whatever other stuff. So I really honestly didn't pay attention that much. We didn't sell a ton of them, but but these two employees kept talking about it. No, they did this, they did that, and they did this. And I was asking, you know, what was the game kind of about? And the way they generically explained it was, it's an open world Lego game. And I was like, oh, I'm a fan of Legos. Always have been. So, cool. And at the time, I used to get a lot of Microsoft points and Xbox Live from Microsoft. I didn't pay for Xbox Live for like 10 years from when it launched until this point. And every year they would give us a bunch of points. And once again, I didn't play a lot of games, so I didn't spend them real quick. So I ended up going home and I bought the game off of Xbox Live and played around with it. I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. And next thing I know, I spent it was like a Saturday or a Sunday that I had off, and I sat there and played it for 14 hours. Never shut it off, ate every meal while playing it. Surprisingly, was more terrified of skeletons and zombies than I even am now, if you can believe that. And yeah, I don't know what it was. I kept going. And this was not right at launch, but pretty early on it coming out on the Xbox. So there were no jungles, there were no ocelots. I think there was only like oak. I think there was like spruce and birch, but you couldn't make anything spruce and birch. It all turned into like an oak door, and you know this. So it was a very primitive game, but I don't know. I just dug it. I liked building things and thought it was kind of fun, and just sat there and played it. And then, and trust me, this is going to get to YouTube. I'm giving you the full journey. So I wanted to learn about redstone doors, you know, where you kind of put the redstone, you push a button in the wall with sticky pistons and stuff like that. I don't even know if there were sticky pistons. I think you had to use regular pistons, but I wanted to learn about that. And the funny part is, I didn't really watch YouTube. I didn't watch any gaming stuff. Generally, I used YouTube like most people's dads do. If, you know, how to repair a Kenmore washing machine, you know, or things like that. Or just, you know, someone would be like, oh, you got to see this video, check this out, and I'd watch it like that. But I really, honestly, did not pay attention to YouTube. I had a Twitter. I don't know why I set that up. It got hacked by some porn site, and I just left it like that for like a year. It's actually the same Twitter that I still use now, was the one that was hacked. Like I mentioned in prior videos, Modii was a nickname I had long before YouTube ever came out, a decade before YouTube came around. So luckily I already had the Modii 101 Twitter. So I started playing that. So I got on YouTube because I want to learn about the redstone doors, and I ended up coming across a guy that some of you may know named Meatwagon. And he had, and if any of you guys know who he is, he doesn't really know redstone. He's not like a redstone guy. He just happened to have a video where in the title or in the tags it was redstone doors. So I watched it, and I actually thought it was pretty funny. It was pretty entertaining. So I started watching. I went back and started watching, because it was kind of in the middle of a series. I went back to the beginning and started watching. I thought it was funny. And as we watched it, he would always talk about his other channel, You Always Win, that he did with another guy named Guns for Hire. So, of course, I would check that out. And I actually thought they were funny. They had a very Laurel and Hardy vibe, you know, the straight man and the bumbling idiot type thing. You've seen it a million times on my channel. So, yeah, I started watching them and playing around, and they announced that they were starting a server, a public server. I knew nothing about servers. I knew nothing about it. I never played with anybody. I mean, you know, the girls were there. My ex at the time was there, and she played a little bit, but I never played online with anybody in Minecraft. So their server comes out, and they actually did a live stream when it launched, and they were very proud that it crashed a bunch of times, which is, I get, because, you know, they're like, yay, we have so many people, it couldn't handle it. But then I'm like, yay, if you had a good server company, you wouldn't have had a problem. So I figured out how to get on there. I got on there, and there was a game called Factions, which a lot of you probably know. Basically, you start a team, a faction of people on the server. You build up a base. You raid other people's bases, you know, and you try and just be the coolest group on the server. It's kind of nerdy. And I played on there a little bit. My daughter Trin played on there a little bit under my account. And then one day I decided, well, you know, I'm going to play this, because they had other mini games that I played. So I'm like, I'm going to really do this Factions thing. And I remember I was running up a hill, and there was just a guy standing up there. And I was like, hi, I'm Modii. And he was like, hi, I'm NJ. And that's how I met NJ. For any of you guys that watch like the Vegas video, he's the guy who made my skin. He was one of the first like kind of Minecraft friend I made, and he was an original member of the squad. So, talked to him, another guy came up, and we started a 3-person group and started building and, you know, making kind of a village and putting up walls and whatnot. And, you know, people wanted to join our group, and more people joined. And I'll be honest at this point, I had never used Skype. I don't even know if I'd ever heard of Skype. Once again, I didn't really play with people online. Maybe on like my Xbox, because I had Xbox Live, but usually they were just whoever was in a game with me. It wasn't, you know. I had played like City of Heroes with a buddy of mine, but we talked on the phone. We actually had home phones with headsets, and that's how we would talk. This is years prior. And I know there was IRC and all these different things you could communicate with, but I didn't know anything about this stuff. So we started this up, and there was a core group of us who said, you know, hey, we should start talking on Skype, just typing. That way, you know, we don't have to use the in-game chat, and if we're going to go raid somebody, they won't see us coming because they can't see the chat. And they had the whole whisper function on there, but we never used that. So I got a Skype account and set it up and started, we started typing on there, and we probably did that for a few months. And then, you know, someone said, we should do voice chat so we don't have to type as much, which I loved. I hate typing. I despise typing. So I love, you know, talking. And so I remember I had gotten a headset from one of the GameStop conferences I went to. It was a computer headset, so I thought I'd never use it. It was stuck in a box up in the closet. It had been there for probably a year. So I went and pulled that thing out and plugged that in and downloaded Skype and figured it out, and we all talked, and it was very interesting because it turns out everybody that I was in a group with thought my name was Modii because they never actually physically heard it, so that was fun to correct them. Anyway, so in that group there was about 8 or 10 of us. Our faction had about 80 or 90 people. But there was about 10 of us that were kind of the original members, core members, the ones we were in the Discord or in the Skype and talked a bunch. And one day somebody suggested, hey, we should make a video. And, we should do this. And we were all fans of You Always Win. That's how we got to the server. So it was kind of that concept. So we were like, yeah, that sounds fun. We knew nothing about it. And there was a guy, and this is only for people that actually know You Always Win. There was a guy named Blood Fox who had won You Always Win had done a thing called Survivor Craft. So in essence, it was Survivor, like the TV show Survivor, but they let fans compete and they filmed it and they had challenges and you actually voted people out and there was winners. They had a deal with ASUS to where they would give them like tablets and monitors that ASUS would donate for this thing. So it was pretty cool. But this guy named Blood Fox had actually won one season. So on this server, he was kind of a local celebrity. And we ended up becoming friends with him, and he was the one who gave me totally legit copies of Fraps and Sony Vegas, which up until about a month and a half ago, I recorded and edited with that same Fraps and same Sony Vegas. This would have been probably summer of 2013. So, late summer, early fall of 2013. So, we started doing some recording stuff. We didn't know what we were doing. And that channel, for a lot of you might know, is a channel called Too Low Gaming. Go look it up if you want. Go see if you can find it. Those are original videos. My first actual videos are on those channels. But we did group projects, which were a headache because we were trying to get 10 people, and all 10 people would record, and then we were trying to send all of the footage to one person, and that person would have to edit the video to swap between all 10 views so that everybody felt included, and everybody wanted to record, but nobody wanted to edit, nobody wanted to upload, nobody wanted to take care of that stuff. They just wanted to, and it kind of got frustrating. So NJ and I did a series, just me and him, because we were the two in the group that were the most kind of focused on it. Plus, we're the only two that learned how to use the programs well. And, but NJ, I think he was in school at the time, and he worked. He was in the military reserves, I think. I don't remember which one. He was in the Air Force Reserves, maybe, I don't know. So anyways, and then I started doing solo videos on that channel as well, just to get more content out. And this went on for a little while. We did not get a whole lot of stuff out. And I decided that I'm like, well, if I'm in all the recordings and I'm doing a majority of the editing, and Jay was taking care of the other half, and these people just want to be on camera, other than that, they don't care. Why? And by the way, we were already thinking money. I think the channel only got like 100 subscribers over the whole course of the time. There was no money involved. But then it was a case of like, well, if the channel takes off, why do I want to do all this work and then split it 9 ways or 10 ways with 9 other people who don't want to do anything? So I started my own channel, which is the Modii 101. I actually started a channel called Modii 101, and then somehow forgot the password, couldn't recover it, so I stole my own channel. So that's why my channel is actually called The Modii 101, because I'm a moron. At this time, when we were on the You Always Win server, we had been introduced to another guy named Soul, who was the dev for the You Always Win service. He worked for, I don't remember what company it was, but he worked for whatever server company You Always Win went through. And he was the dev. I want to say it was like, I don't know if it was MC Pro Hosting, or I don't remember who it was, but he worked for them as their dev, and he's the one who did all the games for that thing. We become friends, our group and him, and he said he was thinking about starting his own server that he wanted to call, that was called Bacon MC. And he he was going to be the dev. It was going to be all his. He was going to leave that other company, and wanted to know if me and my friends wanted to be the build team and be the staff for that server. And of course, we're like, yeah, sure, why not, So we head over. This is all during kind of that early Tulo Gaming YouTube time. So he makes a server. We go over. We do all the builds, and we're the head admins and all that stuff. And to be honest with you, not many people came on. It was to the point where we would be hanging out in the lobby, like all of us in a call, and we'd all kind of gotten burned out faction, so we weren't even hanging out in the US Win server anymore. And we were just hanging out there, and somebody would log in and scare the crap out of us. The only really publicity we had was Soul had been doing this for a while, so he had a little bit of a Twitter following and stuff like that. So we set up Bacon MC, and I remember this was probably around Christmas time of 2013, because we built a Christmas lobby, big tree, that you could actually climb around in, and presents and toy trains and all this stuff. And yeah, so then so this is all right around the very beginning of 2014. I launched my solo channel, which a lot of the other people in Tulo Gaming weren't wild about. NJ had actually launched his own channel, and then the other, it was either 6 or, I don't remember if there's 8 or 10 of us, but the rest of the group, kind of in defiance, one of them started a channel, and they all started working on theirs. So NJ and I were we were still part of this whole group thing. And to be honest with you, I had become better friends with Soul than they had. So I wasn't real concerned about being kind of, kicked out of the group or anything like that. Because I had my own channel, and I was working on the server. So yeah, so working on that server was what really kind of kick-started my channel, because eventually the server turned into, I believe it was called Galaxy's MC. And that's when Soul had partnered with a YouTuber, a guy, I don't know if you guys have heard of, a guy named Husky Mudkips. Anyways, never heard of him. And to be honest with you, not joking, I had never heard of him. I had never heard of Team Crafted. I heard little things from the people I was friends with, but I didn't watch YouTube. I didn't watch any of this stuff. I watched You Always Win, and that was it. That's all I did. So I didn't know who any of these guys were. I was aware that they were YouTubers. I was aware that they had a bazillion subscribers, but that's about it. So Galaxy started to take off because Husky started promoting, and that was kind of the point. Soul was the behind the scenes guy, Husky was the face of the thing, and they were 50-50 owners on it. And mostly from working on that channel is where kind of the initial subscriber base, I want to say, within, under 100, but the first 100 or so came from just being on there. People would come on, and they would kind of know who I was because I was on the server and I worked on the server, and then they, oh, you got a YouTube channel? What's the link? And I'd give it to them and stuff like that. And Soul didn't mind that I was promoting and whatnot. And yeah, so that's how I got to the initial part. So I think that's where we're going to end this part of the story of Volume 1 of my journey of YouTube. So this basically kind of covered, honestly, 2013. I want to say I started playing Minecraft probably March or April on the Xbox. So this covered that first part, and yeah, it goes through until I had a channel. So yeah, we'll jump into the next phase of this. You'll start to hear some names you might recognize, like Fitz, Husky, Mini Muka, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so if you like this, make sure you hit that thumbs up so I know that you guys are digging this. If you guys want to hear the whole story, the whole journey, soon enough you'll start to hear names you recognize, like Snoop and Heather. But yeah, go and hit that like. Hi, honey. Questions, comments, concerns, put them down below. Anything, what you guys think of the series, and yeah, let me know about that. Go check out our Patreon, help support what we do, and get us some better equipment. And lastly, go check out our Spreadshirt shop. But most importantly, hit that subscribe, click that bell, help us grow this channel. We love doing this for you guys, and we just want to be able to continue it. So anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the beginning of the journey. We still got a lot more to go. We still got 5 years worth of stuff to go. It'll speed through the middle there, but hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.